Good evening. I'm ANCHORPETE, and I'm here with my wife, Shari T.
Good evening.
Yes, and we are here to discuss Yellowjackets, Episode 9, Doomcoming. This is the ANCHORPETE channel where we like to discuss the movies, TV shows that you have heard of, but maybe not everyone is talking about. But here's the thing, Shari. I almost feel redundant and weird saying that because everyone's talking about Yellowjackets.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the exception of Yellowjackets.
Right.
Maybe they weren't at first, but the show has really taken off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They always say that you should always say, like, what your channel is or whatever right at the very front so people know what you're dealing with.
Who's they?
Like YouTube people.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, who cares about YouTube? Let's talk about this very juicy episode that we just watched.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so what we've started to do is we've started to just break it down by character. And I think that when we discuss the characters, Shari, we should talk about them in the past and in the present.
Okay.
And most of the episode was focused in the past, right?
It was a really important, we had a very important opening scene with Shauna.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And Adam.
Yes, so spoilers, by the way, guys. This is a very spoiler, like, if you haven't seen the episode, there's a lot that's going to be spoiled
Hi,
tonight.
Elsie.
Yeah, let's say hi.
Yeah, there's tons of spoilers. Also, if you've been coming back, please remember to subscribe. So we can do polls and whatnot.
Oh, we're getting even closer to that poll, Shari.
We're still quite a bit away.
Subscribers have gone up because of the show. Yes. All right. So let's dive in. You mentioned Shauna. Why don't we just get in on Shauna right away, right off the bat? Okay.
Okay. It's how the show opens. She confronts Adam. Accusing him of being the glitter bandit, and he pretty much just denies until she stabs him.
Yeah, very quickly too.
She was having like flashbacks while she was doing it, so she was clearly not in a good mental state.
Yes. I was looking for things in the flashbacks that we had not seen so far in the show, and I bet you guys in the comments will, because you guys are very eagle-eyed, you'll maybe point out something that we haven't seen. But I feel like we've seen everything so far in those flashbacks.
Okay. I don't remember if I saw anything different. It looked mostly familiar.
I think the very last thing that she saw before she stabbed him was like that symbol on the ground.
Okay.
I think that's the very last thing she saw. So,
what did you think about her stabbing him?
Well, I think it's kind of in character, especially if you watch the whole episode all the way to the end. It definitely seems that there is like a primal thing with her, and she might be like the butcher of the group. And so just stabbing and killing people just is natural to her.
It comes natural to her. Yeah. She's definitely the killer of the group. Like the one who literally is going to get blood on her hands for the group.
Yeah.
We see in a later scene, and this is jumping forward.
Yeah.
We see in a later scene at the Doomcoming that Lottie's like, Shauna, do your thing, and kind of hands the knife to her to go for, isn't it, Travis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what Shauna does.
I actually was worried that she was going to kill Jeff this episode too.
Oh. Okay, why? What happened with Jeff?
Well, okay, so that's another big juicy nugget. I hope you guys appreciated the thumbnail. That was probably my favorite laugh out loud moment. Last week's episode with the Misty with the Coke.
Yeah.
That was my favorite laugh out loud moment. This one when Jeff was like, there's no book club.
Yeah,
that was my favorite part of the episode.
Yeah,
at least humor wise. But yeah, he revealed a shit ton of stuff, and we all had theories about who was blackmailing them, and was Jeff involved? And apparently Jeff was involved, and also that guy Randy.
Oh yeah, Randy's his confidant.
Hard Luck Randy, who was at the hotel. You know, the older version of Randy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Motel.
That's true. Yeah, but he was in on it. Essentially, Jeff, his business had fallen on hard times. Maybe that kind of happens with furniture retail shops. Everything's like done online. And so he had to get in deep with the loan sharks. And
that's his story. You believe his story?
I do. I actually do believe his story.
Okay, I think I do too. And he's not having an affair, we found out.
Yes.
Honestly, he revealed a bunch of shit that if I was Shauna, I'd be like, man, I want a divorce. But then she reveals like way worse shit to him. Yes. And they like actually are just like, our marriage is built on secrets. So we're just going to try to like get out of this mess. But why isn't he a little bit horrified that she stabbed someone? I mean, on top of the fact that she's having an affair. I mean, yes, he did this loan shark thing, but like, I don't know. Like that's a white collar crime. He'll go to jail for that. But she's like doing some murder.
Yes.
Not to mention the serious crime of the heart of adultery.
Yeah, well, I think that he's not as fazed by it because he read what's in the journals. And what's in the journals must be even more disturbing.
Yeah, maybe he like understands her better than she realized or than we realized.
Yes.
Maybe that's why he has some love and sympathy for her that we saw in previous episodes, like when they visited Jackie's parents.
Yeah. See, there's one thing, and we're going to talk about this later when we talk about Misty too, because she kind of mentioned something like this as well. But there's this idea that they always kind of hide behind this excuse or this rationale of you were just kids, you were in the wilderness for a year and a half. You know, everyone kind of has pity on them. And so he seems to have had pity on them, and he's read what's in the journals. I have a question for you, and I have a question for our audience, because there was one thing I was kind of confused about.
Okay.
So she opens the safe, and the journals are missing last episode. Mm-hmm. She goes to Adam's house, kills him. She comes back. The journals are in the safe. The idea is that Jeff put them back in the safe, correct?
I think so, yeah.
So why did he take them out in the first place? Was that part of the blackmailing?
I don't know.
That part was kind of weird to me.
Like, he did say he had read them way in the past.
Right.
Yeah, so why would they come out again?
Yeah, maybe he had taken them out for, like, research purposes to help with the blackmailing. I don't know.
He did use the symbol in the blackmailing and the postcards and everything, so maybe he needed them for that information.
Yeah, yeah. I think that right there, there's like a little bit of embedding there where you could kind of branch out and do more of the story of like, why weren't the journals in there?
Well, that's why I'm not sure it's the total truth from him.
Mm-hmm.
Is he really that innocent? I mean, even though the what he admitted to is nothing good, right? Yeah. He sounds pretty sad sack, kind of like he's going to lose the store. You know, it's nothing any wife wants to hear. But minor compared to her again.
Yeah. Do you think that
can I also just say, like, of all the people you're going to blackmail or try to get money from, he picks her friend, Thaisa, who's had, like, tragedy on this plane crash along with her. I just don't know why he couldn't pick someone else. Why not pick someone who's not your wife's friend?
Oh, well, I think it's just because it's like the devil that you know, right? It's like he's picking someone that he knows that has money.
Okay.
Right?
He doesn't know anyone else with money?
I guess not in the furniture business.
Or he doesn't know their secrets.
Right.
You have to be
it might be someone he knows that's way more loaded, but maybe doesn't have any dirt on them.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did enough for Shauna to want to get out of that marriage. I think that he did enough, but she certainly did too.
Yeah, he redeemed himself, and that was one of the things that was part of our discussion. Was a lot of people think that he was the guy that stole the money. A lot more people thought it was Adam.
Why do you think he redeemed himself?
I don't mean redeemed.
He came clean, but
he didn't. Okay, yeah. Maybe he showed they had more character than we thought he did, especially when he was willing to go to jail for Shauna too, right? He was willing to.
He said that, but I don't know if he's sincere. I'm just not sure about the sincerity.
So we have our first little speculation right here from someone. We have LC saying maybe Adam was part of the Loan Shark group instead of being Javi. Jeff did not see Adam's body, right?
Right.
So there might be something to it.
And I want to like piggyback on that because I was waiting for when Shauna does get Thaisa and Natalie over to Adam's apartment.
Now you're going to say Javi right there.
I almost said Javi. No, that she gets them over to Adam's apartment. I was waiting for someone to identify him because we're always like Shauna maybe doesn't recognize that it's Javi, but I bet if Natalie saw him, she would know. But no one was saying that's Javi.
Right.
So I'm questioning: is it Javier? You know?
I don't think so. And
you think we've been wrong all along about that?
Yeah, I think that's.
Or maybe none of them recognize him.
I mean, first off, I think that Shauna really would have recognized him as this guy that was with her in this whole tragic, crazy scenario. I know we kind of played into that idea, but I don't know. And then the fact that Natalie did not recognize him at all, I think that's a telltale sign right there.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so we got another guy right here, Colin Rivas. He's saying, good question. Thought maybe someone else took the journals, not Jeff.
Again, Callie, the daughter, is still an option.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about her. She wasn't around this time.
He did admit to having read the journals in the past, not necessarily now. I don't know. Who should we go to next?
I think that we should go to Natalie maybe because, well, actually, why don't we just do Thaisa because I almost feel like there's nothing in the present from Thaisa.
Very little.
There's one thing I want to point out, though, in the present. You ready?
Okay.
So in the present for Thaisa, when they're looking at Adam's dead body, she kind of goes, ew, it's a dead body.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is like kind of a sign that maybe the cannibalism thing hasn't happened. Maybe it's not as hardcore as we think.
She wouldn't be so grossed out by a dead body.
Yeah. This whole episode, especially the end, is all about like, oh man, they're going to go wild and eat people. It's going to be crazy, right? But there's one part with Misty in the present too that I feel like goes along with this as well. Like when the Jessica Roberts, she's saying to her, look, you guys ate each other, right?
Mm-mm.
So, and then Misty kind of just stares at her. She doesn't
confirm,
right,
or deny.
Correct.
She doesn't give up the juicy information. And Jessica Roberts is asking that question, like a leading question, to try to like get her to confess, and she doesn't, which is, you know, Misty's too smart for that, hopefully. So back to Taissa.
Right. So I'm just saying that, like, I think that her reaction in the present to Adam's dead body may be a sign that they're not all cannibals and stuff like that. Okay. Taissa, in the time of the plane crash, there's this really sweet moment where she made a mask for herself and a mask for Van, so that Van wouldn't feel like an outcast at the Doomcoming.
Yes.
Right? That was a great moment, I thought.
Yeah, that was very sweet. And then they made out in front of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So they like were open about their love. And of course, the coach loves that because he's also gay. Yeah.
All right. So since the coach kind of interacted with everybody and he's not really necessarily with one thread, is the coach dead by this point in the past?
Why? Because they left that scene with him confessing to Misty?
Correct.
I don't think he's dead.
You don't think he's dead?
I'm not sure. They didn't show what she did.
I think.
Or how she reacted completely. They just showed her coming back to camp without him.
Correct. I think what's going to happen is we are going to see the whole season finale episode, and the last scene is they're going to show his body in the woods somewhere as if
Misty did something. I mean, it's ambiguous at this point. We don't know. I think there's still more from Coach coming.
Yeah. We'll
see. How would she have killed him? I mean, what do you think?
If I would guess for her, it would be something that she could kind of play off as he was attacked by wolves, or, you know, he was poisoned or something, or, you know.
But that means she mutilated him. I'm just saying, what do you think she did?
I don't know.
Okay. Let us know if y'all think Coach is dead by Misty's hands at this point.
Yeah.
In the past, or if he's just still out in the woods tripping on shrooms.
Yeah. So as far as Taissa goes, is there much else to say about her?
I have, like, to me, what's notable is that she was not present. Okay, aside from Shauna killing Adam, the other really big thing that happened in this episode was Lottie kind of fulfilling what we've all suspected, that she's going to be the antler queen. I think we're pretty much certain now, right? She put on a headdress and everything, and she like took control. She took charge, and she like commanded the girls to do some nasty things, right? Some bad things. What I did want to say about Taissa, and it's not just Taissa, is that the main girls, with the exception of Shauna, were all not present for the chase of Travis, where they try to chase him down, call him a stab, and are going to kill him. So none of the main girls are there, except for Shauna, who was actually going to be the one to spill the blood. So I think that's interesting. The girls who survived aren't present for that kind of like breakdown in psychology and getting really primal. Yeah,
that's a really good point. I actually, at that point, I was trying to count, like, I was like, how many people are truly left besides the main characters, right?
Did you count?
Yeah, and if you guys could please confirm this too in the comments, but someone told me the names of the two girls that went with Van and Taissa into the woods. But there's the girl that was cooking, right? And then there's the African-American girl too, right? Those two. I called them red shirts one time, right?
Okay.
There's those two. Then there's Lottie. And then there's the
Jackie.
Oh, Jackie, right. And then there's also
the four main girls.
Right. But I'm saying besides the main girls, I was trying to figure out who was still around.
I think you named them.
Okay, and then there's also Javi, the coach, and what's his face? The guy, Travis. Yeah. So, look. LC to the rescue. Mari and Akila. Okay, thank you so much. Oh, and then look at this. Elsie also said, I have to agree. I think she bashed his head in or threw him into the river and took his walking stick.
Was she holding the walking stick when she came back?
I don't know. But
he needs that stick.
That's super cold.
Yeah.
But we're getting down lower and lower in numbers as far as like non-main cast members, right? With the team.
Okay, and
so and Van too.
The ones who like went primal are like I said, not the main cast members,
right.
and I think that was important and interesting, and it might mean that we have some sort of square off where it's like the main character girls against the ones who have decided to like follow Lottie.
But Shauna will maybe be on the team of the other team, right?
We'll see. She's friends with everyone in the present. I mean, she's very close with Thaisa still. Anyway, and by the end of this episode, she kind of seems like she's like, what was I doing? I lost my head, sort of, you know.
That sequence, man, where he had like the deer head. Ooh, that was wacky.
Yeah.
You know, got a comment from Joey right here. Y'all are the only review I watched. Thank you so much. We're happy to have you. Believe me, there's a lot of reviews of this show now. It's getting real popular, so thank you. Shari, I absolutely agree with you. I do think there's going to be like this, almost like a civil war between the survivors.
Yeah.
At some point, and we have to compare numbers. You know, we one thing we'll do probably once the show stops is I think we're going to go back to that, at least the pilot, and watch it over again, and we can count how many people were sitting in that little sacrifice in the very beginning with the Antler Queen, and then we can see like if it matches up. Or if
I think someone said in the past that there was like 6 or something. But what do you think of Lottie being the Antler Queen? What do you think about her change this episode, because she's completely different than how she's been in the past?
Yeah, I think it's very fitting. You know, Laura Lee dies, and it's very tragic.
And it affected. Do you think that affected Lottie quite a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Laura Lee like gave her like a baptism and everything a couple of episodes back, and that seemed to have an impact on her. So, do you think with Lottie now that her saying we're not going to be hungry much longer, do you think that she thinks they're going to be cannibals and that there's like this evil presence in the woods that's making them? Like she said, something's coming.
I don't necessarily think she thinks that. I think she feels that something is coming. I think she said what she feels, and she doesn't exactly have the answer, because she seems to sort of get these visions that aren't always clear, right? Yeah. She saw the red water. She didn't know exactly what that was going to be, that it was going to be a river of like contaminated water. She saw flames. She didn't exactly know that it meant that Laura Lee was going to blow up. So she sees like kind of pieces of what's coming. But not necessarily how it's going to come. So I think she knows that they're going to eat somehow, but she couldn't exactly tell you how.
Yeah.
What did you think of them eating grubs?
It was better than eating people, right? And so it's gross. Maybe that's what Thaisa was doing when she was digging in the dirt.
Looking for something.
Maybe she was getting some grubs herself.
Some protein.
Right. Yeah.
It was a little gross to see it, but what else are they supposed to do? I have wondered, why don't you eat some insects? So there we had it. It kind of answered a question I had.
Yeah. And there's definitely that sense of doom. And honestly, this was one of my favorite episodes of the whole show.
Yeah. There's a big reveal.
Yeah. I mean, so much of this discussion on this channel or with this show in particular is just like, hey, what about this? And we're going to speculate and all this kind of stuff. But it's also fun to just kind of sit back and appreciate what we're watching. And I think that there's this really great montage where they were getting ready for the Doomcoming, and they're putting on their special dresses, and it's playing Collective Soul. I thought that was one of the best things I've seen on this show.
I would go back and watch that in a heartbeat, because personally I'm a sucker for a montage, and I really love a montage involving people getting dressed up. Does that make sense?
Of course.
I don't know if anyone's seen the movie The Crow, but there's the scene where he like morphs into the crow, and he's like putting on the makeup and the clothes. I love it. They're playing like a great Cure song. But anyway, it reminded me kind of that, because it's like it's the literal transformation. You know, everybody's like changing before your eyes and turning into something, and they're getting ready for that big night. I agree. I loved that.
That whole sequence is great, and the actual Doomcoming is great too.
I thought it was really sweet when they were all walking in. You know, I mean, despite myself, I was like smiling, and it was like, oh, they're so cute, and they're all dressed up, and it was fun.
And there's these great parallels between the present day stuff and the past stuff, because Doomcoming happens in this episode, and then I think next episode they have like a reunion dance or something. Which
it looks like they're all going to.
Yeah. Isis email, who commented a lot last time too, said, if you see the upcoming episode 10, Coach is with the girls staring in the woods. One of the girls said something else is here.
That's what I think. I thought, okay, good. Thank you. So he's still
Thank you.
Yeah. So Misty hasn't completely lost her mind yet.
Right. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out. And then, let's see this. There's something from Elsie again. In the pilot episode, around the 53-minute mark, one of the it's posted on YouTube. The Antler Queen looks pregnant, right, when she walks behind Misty. It could just be the clothes under.
Okay, so now that let's talk about Jackie.
Yes, she's not one of the main characters, but she got a lot. She is not one of the people that are alive that we know of, but she absolutely had a lot in this episode. She had this great speech to Travis at one point.
I wouldn't call it great.
Well, it's just this.
I kind of hate her at this point.
Really?
Yeah, you like Jackie? Who likes Jackie? I should do a verbal poll on that. Like,
verbal poll number 2. Who likes Jackie?
I don't know if it's
tell us in the comments.
I don't know if it's worthwhile. I just don't like her because I never liked her.
That's your favorite part in the opening credits is when it pauses on her and she does that little face.
Yeah, that is my favorite shot. Yeah. But that's not because I like her. I've never liked her. She's always been whiny, complainy, full of herself.
Yeah.
And like, I guess because I like Nat. And she like goes and like does that with Travis, and it's like, I mean, I really like that Lottie is kind of like, you took something that's not yours. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, you get her. And they like lock her in a closet.
I think it was like a storage.
The pantry or whatever. Yeah, they lock her in there. I really actually enjoyed all that. I mean, it's wrong. And you don't want to be Jackie in that position who's getting locked in somewhere. They're kind of crossing the line.
Yeah.
But it's better than being Travis.
Yeah.
In that scene.
Look, I understand that what she did. And I kept thinking during the episode, hey, she's hurting Natalie. She's trying to hurt Shauna, but she's really just hurting Natalie, right?
Yeah,
she's mad at Shauna.
You're going for the wrong person.
Right. And so that was frustrating. However, I do think with her, she's put so much effort into being like a good person, a good captain, you know, doing right with her boyfriend, you know, trying to stay a virgin. And then this whole crash and reading Shauna's journals. I love how Shari's just looking off to the side over here.
Because I don't think any of them, I don't think she put, go ahead and finish what you're saying.
Yeah, basically, it's one of those moments where you realize you're like, oh man, I put all this effort into doing the right thing and being a good person. And here I am, I'm going to just die in the woods.
I know. I understand that she's like facing her mortality. They all are. That doesn't mean that she gets to throw a little tantrum and steal someone's boyfriend.
Wait, oh, shit. Hold on a sec. I'm sorry that jumped.
And I know someone's going to say it's not Natalie's boyfriend. They broke up. And that's what her excuse is. But everybody kind of knows that they have a thing going on. And he even tries to approach Natalie at the dance.
I know.
The Doomcoming. And who steals him away?
Yeah.
Goddamn Jackie.
But
they could have reunited in that moment.
Oh, yeah. She totally, like, fucks up that relationship. But then, look, I had this little epiphany when I was looking at the comments. Jackie's lazy and mean. Okay, thank you, Isis. I think that Shari's going to agree with you on that.
That's right.
However, look at this. I still think Jackie may be Antler Queen. Now, here's the thing. She said that Antler Queen looked pregnant. Jackie just had sex, right?
Yeah.
So maybe she is the Antler Queen and she's pregnant.
I don't know the shot. I can't say I've seen the shot of the Antler Queen looking pregnant. I don't know what's going on there. That's possible. But it's also possible that Travis has sex with more people.
Oh,
we were this close to gang rape of Travis in this episode, which was like kind of horrific. And like when he was tripping and seeing like all of them like looking like they wanted to eat him. Were they gonna like rape him? Or were they gonna like start eating him?
I think maybe eating. I think they are like super starved. And that was actually another sequence that I thought was really well done, where like Shauna grabbed onto his face and it looked like she was like pulling his skin off his face.
Yeah, that's hallucination though.
Right, but that was really well shot, I thought. It was very scary.
It was scary. I was afraid for him.
Right.
And
the only reason why we know he survives is because he's alive in the present. Otherwise, he could have easily been killed there.
Yeah, and Natalie saved him.
Natalie saved him. That's right.
Natalie also saved Jackie, who Jackie doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Or she let her out of the pantry. I'm just saying. I was kind of pissed at, the irony of Natalie like coming to Jackie's rescue. She probably wouldn't have if she knew what Jackie had just done.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But speaking of Natalie, I don't think we've covered her in the present yet, right?
Right.
So we've talked about at least the last 2 episodes that we've done that like Juliette Lewis has not liked modern day Natalie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the whole purpose of modern day Natalie, which like her big arc for this episode was that she smashed a vending machine.
That's kind of bad. That's kind of badass.
It was badass, and she's just sitting on a picnic table eating the M&Ms. Nobody from the front office or anything seems to care.
These girls have gotten away with quite a bit in their adult lives.
In the present day. But what I'm trying to say is that I think that the whole purpose of Juliette Lewis, her version of the character is just to be a sharp contrast to her plane crash self. That her plane crash self might be the best of all of them. Which is kind of ironic because, like, she has this bad reputation before the plane crash. And then when she's there, did you notice when she's talking to the coach, she had alcohol. He goes to offer it to her, and she says, I haven't really wanted it. You know? And I know that with her dad, he had kind of talked about taking her hunting or that she didn't know how to shoot. So maybe, like, she's in her element when she's in nature like that.
Okay.
And that, like, when she comes back home because of what happened and stuff, she's just so traumatized that she just spirals again. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, she's definitely traumatized and spirals again. Yeah, but we don't know all what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do think there are people who thrive in a natural setting.
Right.
And there are people who are like, I fucking hate camping and it's miserable. You know, maybe she is a person that does well in that. I kind of took it as she didn't want to drink because the environment, the environment's different. But also I think she has, like, actually been having a better time than most of the girls because she was falling in love.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Well, I think that, like, just going along with what you're saying, like, thriving there, you know, that's kind of like Locke in Lost. And a couple of people have compared this to Lost, including us. And, like, remember, he kind of thrives when they're in the crash.
Do you want to talk about who's thriving in this situation? Misty.
Okay, let's do this.
Lottie.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe not for the better. I mean, she's gone from, like, a shy, quiet, sweet girl.
Yeah.
I mean, she's changed.
Yeah.
I guess it's up for argument if she's thriving, but she's becoming a leader. And who else? Jackie's going down.
Yeah.
Her position is going down.
Yeah.
Shauna is, like, kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Is Thaisa going up or down? She's finding love also.
Yeah, and she's been able to be open about her sexuality. So that's liberating, you know?
Yeah. So, anyway, it's kind of interesting to think who's doing better in this environment. And that's why you're saying maybe Jackie is still the antler queen. I'm going with Lottie.
All right. Who's the antler queen? That's a poll right there.
I feel like they revealed it this episode.
Okay. We don't know.
Okay.
Okay, we got a few more comments. Let's address them. And then you think about what else you want to talk about between us. LC, I found it interesting that Lottie said they wouldn't be hungry for much longer while Shauna's baby was moving and her belly and Thaisa was touching it.
LC, I thought about that too. It was, like, definitely timed that way for you to think about that. And gross.
And that was reminding you of, like, the chicken, right? The little baby that was
the turkey
baby that they took a bite of.
Yeah, just gross. I'm not sure how she's growing a baby when they barely have enough to eat.
That's a very good point. Those grubs, you know, I don't know if they have enough protein. All right, so let's look at this one. Colin says Shauna could take Lottie's position as the antler queen eventually. Shauna kept getting the flashbacks to stabbing something when she stabbed Adam, and I think maybe she stabs and kills Jackie. That's absolutely a possibility.
Yes, she definitely does a lot of stabbing and killing. We know she is the, like, one who bleeds out the animals and does the butchering. Right, so that's kind of how I took it. But you're right. Who knows who she's going to stab? I mean, just like, I'm actually having a hard time wrapping my mind around her stabbing Adam. I mean, that was too easy for her.
Yeah,
I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I know she was, like, freaking out, but Jesus.
I don't know. Maybe they have done all this horrible stuff, and maybe what's in the journals, maybe that's not truly, like, maybe the journals themselves are not her, like, deepest, darkest secrets, but, like,
maybe she didn't record every little thing,
right?
And every terrible thing.
Maybe it's almost like to throw people off if they were to ever find her journals.
Maybe.
You know, I don't know.
Maybe.
Aaron Bowley says, I think she just didn't like that kind of alcohol. Okay. Maybe she didn't like it was like schnapps or something. That's a great point about Nat. Thank you. Okay. So I think that we covered Natalie, we covered Shauna, we covered Thaisa. Misty?
Yeah, we haven't talked about Misty.
So Misty, it's pretty much her and Jessica Roberts interacting. She's getting all dolled up, right?
What is she getting dolled up for?
I think it's for the homecoming or the reunion.
I was kind of confused because she was talking to Jessica about confessing about like in an interview.
Yeah, coming forward with.
But was she getting dressed up for the interview?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, maybe she was like trying on her look, and she had like on that very bright lipstick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's going on. Where she's been making friends with Jessica, who I don't think it really wants to be her friend. She's a prisoner at this point, but she is doing a good job of almost convincing Misty. Misty got the phone call or the house call from Natalie at this opportune moment. Yeah. And I kind of enjoyed, again, they're sort of a weird little duo.
Oh, I love that. That's the best part of Natalie in the present is when she's with Misty.
Yeah, and she is the one who thought to go get her to help clean up the mess with Adam. Yeah. The other two girls would never call Misty.
Right. Probably. And they haven't for 25 years. That's what we found out from Jessica Roberts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I think it means a lot to Misty that Natalie called on her. And we see from next week's previews that she is going to go help be the cleaner.
Yeah, and she's kind of like, aren't you all a hoity-toity bunch or something? She says something like that.
And the weird thing is she's always wearing like that janitor outfit.
The nurse scrubs, right?
I don't think it's scrubs. It's like a one-piece outfit that like a prisoner would wear or like a janitor would wear. And she like wears it to go do the cleanup. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Kind of exactly what you would wear to like clean up. All she needs is a mop. She's
all set. Yeah.
Okay, but in the past, Misty,
she makes a little boutonniere for the coach. She wants to go, to the dance with him.
She's sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, I know she's not sweet, but it's kind of sweet. She means well with him.
Yeah, someone mentioned in the comments that like that was a really nice interaction between her and Jackie. Like Jackie was actually nice to her.
Oh, she was putting on her makeup.
Yeah, and then she goes to talk to the coach, and the coach has that one line too, which almost seems like a prophetic line too, where he said that go to Travis, love will save everything, and I think that she did go to Travis, and she was able to kind of prevent the cannibalism, right, Natalie?
Natalie, yeah.
Yeah, when he said that line to her, like go to him, right, love will save it, and I think that literally happened.
Yeah.
But then Misty's like, I heard that too, and she tries to make out with him.
And he's like, I'm gay.
I'm gay.
You're that mom.
You're that woodland creatures. Or
I guess he's been sitting on that secret for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's probably really disappointed. She's also responsible this episode for the result of the Doomcoming because she gave everybody mushrooms.
Yeah.
But to be fair, not on purpose. I think she was planning to just like share them with the coach,
maybe. Yeah,
because remember she set him down. She went to go do something, I forget what, and then when she came back, that one girl had like dumped him into the stew.
Yeah, like, oh, they're in there, you were holding out, right?
Yeah, and they all had really like some major trips.
That was cool when they were tripping. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it, right? Unless you have any extra stuff to throw in.
What do you think of Travis and Jackie's having sex?
I felt bad for Natalie. I guess I kind of felt bad for Travis too, because I think that he really wants to be with Natalie.
I don't see how he was seduced by Jackie's speech.
Okay.
I mean, you're much more sympathetic to her than I am, but like I thought her speech was annoying and shitty, and I just wanted him to like walk out on her. Like your view of humanity is like really depressing, Jackie. Instead, he he grabbed her and kissed her. So I was like just bummed out. I mean, I guess I kind of knew that was coming, but I was still disappointed by it.
Yeah.
And I think it sucks that his first is now Jackie instead of Natalie.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah. That's pretty lame. I think that there's a very high potential that she's pregnant after that because they weren't wearing condoms. They weren't wearing any of the 95 condoms.
Is that where the show is going, that the babies are going to be food?
God.
Shauna's and Jackie's potential baby.
Let me ask you this. Is there anything to do with like Yellowjackets or bees that involve
eating your
cannibalism
young?
Or eating young? I don't know. Who knows? But
a bee expert would know.
Yes. Someone in like a beekeeper suit as their little icon will be like, actually.
Yeah. So if anyone knows this information and can like make some sort of connection for us, no pressure though.
Yeah. So I think that's, I think we essentially gave a couple of little prompts to you guys. If you want to, it's up to you. But I think you were saying, are you guys sympathetic to Jackie? That's the first one, right? The other one was, who do you think is ultimately that antler queen by the first episode? Lottie, Jackie, Shauna, still a lot of options.
Lottie.
Okay, Shari's saying Lottie.
Mm-hmm.
And then last but not least, I got a little fun one.
Okay.
Because, next week is the last episode, right? And, it's going to be sad not talking about this with you guys. But What's your favorite part in the opening credits? Because we love the opening credits. We don't skip them.
Yeah.
You want to say yours one more time?
Oh, my favorite shot in the opening credits is Jackie slitting her throat. And then kind of doing that little.
Yeah. Her least favorite character. That's her favorite part.
Yeah, but it's a really good shot. And I do think it's the longest shot of all of the little clips in the opening credits. She gets the most airtime there.
Yeah. And mine is when it shows Misty, and it's almost at the end of the credits, and it's just the modern day Misty, and it just kind of like drops down. And it's just really just a frozen image of Christina Ricci, but it's the way the music hits and the picture of her. I just love that part so much. Yeah. Anyway, guys, next week is the finale. So get all your speculating in, and we will see you guys next Sunday around 11:10, 11:15, whatever.